Hey everyone, CPO here, and I had to run a quick errand. I thought it would be a good time to talk about this guy. This is the mount I'm using for my dash camera, and it wasn't really what I wanted to use. It wasn't what I planned to use, but it worked out pretty well, so I thought I'd share with you. So the dash camera is a Blackvue DR900S-2 channel, so it's the 4K, got the front facing, and then I've got a camera back in the rear. And so I really like the camera. It's a great camera. It, by default, has a little flat section here on the camera mount that uses the double stick 3M tape and sticks straight to the windshield. And that's what I ran for the longest time. And recently I moved to Florida. The sun here is pretty intense. Particularly in the summertime, leaving the car parked in parking mode with the camera running, and it would overheat all the time. So a few other things going on, windshield tint and the like. So I wanted to get the camera off of the windshield, back away a little bit, and I didn't want to mount directly back, sticky mount back to the windshield. So my first choice, to be completely honest, was a Blendmount. So this is a 2019 Golf R. This little space back here between where the rear view mirror mount is, this cover, and the actual rear view mirror itself, it's really small. And Blendmount says they have a mount that will fit up into that really tiny spot. And, you know, I don't have to really say this, but Blendmount is sort of the gold standard for mounting radar detectors and cameras to rear view mirrors. So that was my first choice naturally. I will say I was a little thrown off with how expensive that product is. But hey, if they're the best in the business and they make a product that works, I'm willing to spend the money. The big problem I had was they don't have any right now. They're completely out of stock. And I was trying to figure out how to get this camera mounted, remounted. I had it pulled down for the windshield tent. And so I needed to remount it. And so I was sort of at a crossroads where I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I sit around and wait for Blendmount, or do I go ahead and come up with something else? So I did some searching on Amazon and found a mount that is designed, supposedly, they claim, to fit 95% of all rear view mirrors. It was a really thin design, like 9.5 millimeters or something like that. Long story short, I must be one of the 5% it doesn't fit, because it didn't fit up in here. I mean, it did, unless I wanted to actually adjust the mirror to a point where I could see. So started doing some more poking around with the stuff I had laying around. And I ended up coming up with a solution that is comprised mostly of the things in the bag with that rear view mirror mount that didn't fit. But it had some other accessories, like it had, these packages, and a full disclosure, I'm using two different package of products, but you can achieve the same thing by just buying two of the rear view mirror mount, and it was like $10 for the whole kit. So, and maybe the rear view mirror mount will work for you, I don't know, but basically it comes with a whole bunch of different options to mount to a variety of different things, and almost always included in these kits is a flat one. I don't know if you can see, it's this guy here that's mounted to the bottom of my rear view mirror with double stick 3M tape. It's flat. It has some little hooks to hook in and latch into something. I just cut those off and then use 3M tape. I've got two of those that I'm running, one to the camera mount and one to the rear view mirror, and then I'm using their ball connectors to tie it together and move it forward of the rear view mirror. So while I wasn't able to achieve it with the one product I thought was going to be the fix, it turns out that I had enough stuff laying on hand from a variety of other projects that I got a pretty nice actual mount, and now I find myself not really wanting the Blendmount. So it's actually that good. It's a little far back away from the windshield. which means I'm probably going to get a little bit more glare than I would like, although the window tint will help with that. I could use an extension here. You can get different size, like ball, like mounting options. I could double up on those. I could get a longer one, but actually, quite frankly, where it's at really doesn't bother me at all. So I thought I would share this tip. I did stick it to the bottom of the rear view mirror, which is surprisingly flat, even though it doesn't really look that flat. It's flat enough to hold one of these. And the real downside of that is if you adjust the mirror, you have to go readjust the camera. But since I'm the only person that drives this car, the mirror is pretty much set for me and just stays where it is. So the camera should just be where it is. I shouldn't have any issues with that. So yeah, that's it. It's like, it ended up being a $10 purchase that didn't work the way it was intended, but I was able to use a lot of the parts from that $10 purchase to cobble together this guy here. So, you know, the real catch is I needed 2 of these flat ones with the ball on the end, and it took going into my parts bin. But like I said, you could buy just 2 of these little kits and you'll get 2 of those little flat sections, and then you can 3M, stick 'em tape to whatever. Now it does come with some other ones. There's some smaller ones that might actually work for you just fine, but I like those bigger ones, and since I had them on hand, I went ahead and used them. But that's it. That's my budget camera mount. As you can see, you've been seeing me drive around this entire time, and the camera is nice and solid. Doesn't wobble around, doesn't wiggle like I expected it might. I was worried it was going to be a little janky, but it's really solid. The video footage is solid, so I'll pull some footage out of this drive so that you can see that, you know, what the view is like and how solid the mount is. That's it. I'll put a link in the description for the Amazon product that I got that, like I said, almost worked, but not quite. It might work with your mirror. So I could have made it work with mine. I was able to get it sort of, but it was like a janky. I don't know another word for it. It was not the way I would have been happy long term. I could have made it sort of work, but anyway, I think this is a lot better solution. And actually, it's the solution I wish was just offered by default, and it would have saved me a lot of time and trouble. Hey, Radley, say hi to everybody. Hey, Radley, say hi to everybody on YouTube. Say hi. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.